So with the Jets moving on from Aaron Rodgers, you would have to think that they are now going to move on from Davante Adams. He has a massive contract, and the whole Aaron Rodgers Davante experiment just did not work. So if you're gonna cut Aaron Rodgers, you might as well cut Davante Adams too. And he is expecting that. He is set to have a 38.3 mil cap hit in 2025, but if the Jets cut him before June 1st, they can save 30 mil a year. So, kind of a no-brainer move in my opinion, and I think Aaron Glenn and company will definitely go through with that transaction. And I would definitely recommend them signing Garrett Wilson to a pretty good deal as soon as possible. Dude is a stud. Dude has gotten the short end of the stick since joining the New York Jets. So I'm glad that it's going to be Garrett Wilson's team again, and he'll get all the opportunities he deserves. Hopefully they could bring in a good quarterback to throw him a lot of balls every single Sunday, Monday, Thursday, but we'll have to see. But there is a report out there that Davante Adams is interested in some West Coast teams. Those teams include the 49ers, LA Rams, and the Chargers. He, of course, already played for the Raiders. Not quite a West Coast team, but pretty close. Now, out of those three teams, I definitely like Davante Adams on the Chargers the most. Now, first of all, I don't think Davante is a top 5 wide receiver anymore. I think he's in that top 20 range, but that's just me. I just did not see a lot from him when he linked up with Aaron Rodgers this past year. But if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. I still think he could be very productive, but I just don't think he's that top electric, Jamar Chase, Jefferson sort of level right now. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I still think he could be an effective and consistent one in this league. But yeah, I like him on the Chargers the most out of those three teams, just because the Chargers have a glaring need at wide receiver. We saw that when they played the Houston Texans on the road. They just did not have the firepower to come back and get the job done. Once that team is trailing, Justin Herbert only has Lad McConkey to really help him out. Quentin Johnson is like a fine 3, but you can't really rely on him to make big plays down the field when you really need to. So the Chargers should definitely be in the market for an elite wide receiver this offseason, so that makes a lot of sense. And Justin Herbert, Davante Adams, I feel like they could be very productive. I feel like you'd put up big numbers with him, and finally giving Justin Herbert a true 1. I know he had Keenan Allen for a minute, but I feel like Davante Adams is probably a better player than Keenan Allen. Not by a large margin, but by a margin. So I'd be curious to see how that would work out. The Niners, man, in theory, sure, I think that would be great. Deebo Samuel actually requested a trade from the Niners a few weeks ago, so they definitely need another wide receiver to pair with Ayuk, but I don't know how much Davante is going to ask for, and there are reports that Brock Purdy might get 60 mil a year. I don't even know what to say about those reports. I just feel like putting on a clown wig after reading that. If that happens, man, jeez. Good luck, San Francisco. You will never win a Super Bowl. I promise you that, dude. I promise you that. I mean, listen, maybe if the salary cap increases $100 million in the next couple years, maybe they could get something done, but to pay Brock Purdy 60 mil a year is just asinine. That's oh man. But I mean, sure, if they could afford Davante Adams, it would make sense. It would be good for Brock Purdy for sure, but I don't think they'll have the money to really offer him the contract he would like. So I don't really think that's too realistic. Now the LA Rams, I think the Rams should lean into just adding pieces around Jared Verse because I really think you have something special there, man. If you could keep hitting on your draft picks defensively and add a few more pieces there via free agency, you could have a very legit top 5, top 3 unit in 2025 or in 2026. They played pretty good against the Eagles, man. They played pretty good against the Super Bowl champions. So the Rams are right there. Adding another wide receiver that's probably going to want a lot of money, I just think they should spend money elsewhere. They are planning to trade Cooper Kupp or cut him, but Puka is a good 1A there. You don't really need another superstar wide receiver there. I feel like he could carry the load. I am curious to see if he can hold up for a whole season. Obviously, he had a historic rookie season. Year 2, a lot of injuries. So I'm curious to see if his health will bounce back. But besides that kind of question mark, I really trust him to really carry the load. And I trust Sean McVay to put enough good receivers and good tight ends around Matt Stafford and Puka to the point where it's just unnecessary to have 2 great wide receivers there. But that's just me. That's just me, man. Let me know if you agree with me. Now, I know he's interested in West Coast teams, but I think Davante Adams on the Buffalo Bills could be something. Amari Cooper wasn't really that guy. Not really sure if they're going to bring him back, but to have Davante Adams, Shakir, and Keenan Coleman, I feel like that's definitely a good receiving room for Josh Allen. Maybe that would take them over the top. And plus, like Josh Allen, Davante Adams, I feel like that duo would be pretty lethal, and I think that would be a lot of fun to see. There have been some reports of potentially the Denver Broncos targeting Davante Adams. Now, the Broncos have a bunch of young receivers that are pretty good, so I don't know if they're going to target him. I know Sean Payton is definitely interested in an elite RB and an elite tight end. Not really sure if he will check out Davante, but to have Davante, Cortland Sutton, that's not a bad duo as well. Plus, you have Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, Vele, 3 really good young wide receivers. It might be overkill to a certain extent. I feel like they need help with other positions, but wouldn't be a bad fit. Also, I would kind of be intrigued to see him with Jaden Daniels, Davante Adams, Scary Terry. That would be a good duo. I think that would be a lot of fun, and I would love to see that as well. But you let me know where you want to see Davante Adams go. I feel like he definitely has a lot of options, and the world is his oyster. I'm curious to see if he still has a fastball, though, man. Really curious to see that. I hope he does because, prime Davante Adams, he was electric to watch, and I hope we can see that again in the 2025 season. So let me know what you think. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
The Jets put themselves in a terrible situation. 3rd and long, but you know what? They got a lot of talent on the offensive side, and that was an awesome job of picking up that 1st down.
Hightower's there to make the tackle. After the 2-yard carry, it sets up 2nd down and 8. 2 tight ends on the field here. Amaro with the